be a social worker. Now we are saying, now the last question we are asking, who can be a social worker? Who can be a social worker? Listen to me. Anyone can be a social worker. Anyone can be a social worker. But at the same time, I say not everyone can be a social worker. Not everyone can be a social worker. Same thing applies. Not everyone can be a nurse. All right. When you look at them, you can think that, oh, okay, it's just easy to do this job. But not everyone can be a social worker. The reason I'm saying that anyone can be a social worker is that you can go to school and study to be a social worker. That means you are a self-made social worker. Okay, that's why I'm saying that anyone can be a social worker. When I say that not everyone can be a social worker, let me tell you, a social work is a calling. Not everyone can be a pastor. You need to be called to be a pastor. Okay, and there are pastors who just go to school and study theology and then they become pastors. Now, in social work, the reason I'm emphasizing this thing then, when you are a self-made social worker, that means you go to school. Like when I say self-made, it's just my term that I just maybe there's no term like that somewhere, but it's just my term that I've put together, that you went to school, you studied to be a social worker, but it is not in your heart. And I can tell when someone does social work and that person has become a social worker by default, because some of us, we become social workers just because there was no money for me to study medicine. There was no money for me to be an accountant. There was no money for me to be a lawyer. And then now maybe there was a bursary for me to be a social worker. You see? Now that what happens, you end up being a social worker by default. Actually, it was not something that you dream about. It was not your goal in life to be a social worker. You ended up being a social worker. That is why sometimes you find social workers who are so frustrated in the field, not because they are frustrated because of they have too much work. They are frustrated just because it's not their field. You see, it is not their field. It's not something they were called to do. A social worker is a calling. It's a work that you do from your heart. Is a work that you do when you help people. You feel their needs. When someone comes to your office and start crying, you actually go deeper and enter the shoes of that person, and the problem becomes your problem. Why? Because you are called for this. And when you help the person, you go extra miles. You go extra miles to actually help the person and be able to change the life of that person. Okay. When you look at the same time, there are laws in social work. But when you are called to be a social worker, there are things that sometimes you twist because you want to actually help the life of the person. And when you help the person, you connect with the person. You feel the emotions of the person, and sometimes, though they say that you don't have to cry, you must not cry before the client. Yes, that's true, because you need to actually bring hope to the person, and the person must believe in you. If you cry because of the pain, that means you but that doesn't mean you are not competent, but that means you feel the pain. You feel the pain that the person is going through. But if you are a self-made social worker who just went to school, I tell you, you just stick to the black and white. You just stick to the laws, and you do not understand. Like you are given rules from someone who is above you, and those people, they don't even understand what you are dealing with on the ground roots. I won't reveal so many things, but But at the same time, those people who went to school for social work, you find them neglecting the clients. You find them not following up. You find them that in as much as they deal with the client, you can see the loopholes that they are kind of like not interested. They are thinking about some other things, and the client don't feel welcomed. The client don't feel that their problem has been resolved properly. You see, you find social workers shouting to the clients. You find social workers not welcoming. You see, you can know when someone is welcoming you. You can know when someone speaks to you, when they utter the words. You can see hope. Even when you see that, okay, your problem is big, but when they start talking to you, because they understand, they come to a human level. I repeat, they come to your level, and they see the problem according to your own perspective. Someone who is not called to be a social worker, the client is here, and then they are here. They are not connecting. They are not connecting. You see, there are times you know. I'll just make an example. As for me, there are laws that says really you don't transport a child during the court dates. You don't transport the client, the child, let's say the client or the child, to their families. That means the social worker, the placing social worker, has to come and take the child to the families and stuff like that. But due to the challenges that the social workers face in their offices, I end up going beyond. Because what, I look at the best interest of the child, and I look at how this child feels, and I look at the heart. This child misses home. You see, there are nitty-gritty things that you go above and beyond. You don't stick to the rules. You don't stick to the principles. Why? Because you are called. You can feel the pain of the person. That's why I'm saying that social work is a calling. Social work is the calling. When everyone closes the door at 4:30 and say, I'm done for the day. But if you are called to do this job, you are a social worker 24 hours. Someone can call you at 12 o'clock and need your help. I've dealt with the cases whereby a case will come while I'm sitting with my family at home by 8:30 in the evening, watching TV with my family. Someone will come, and I will need to tackle, and I will need to help the person. In that, I will have to take a car, run to the police station. Why? Because this is a calling. And I won't feel bad about it. I won't feel as I'm challenged. I do that with my heart, because you know what? Is a calling. I don't know how many cases that came that way, but I've dealt with them. Even on weekends, when I have to spend time with my family, but I will have to actually help and make sure that the person is helped, and I close the case. If you are not called to that, you cannot go beyond that mile. You cannot. So that is why I'm saying that in social work, you have to decide to be a social worker. You have to decide whether is this something that you are called for, or is it something that you are doing it for a paycheck at the end of the month, or it's something that you are doing it just because there is a scarcity of jobs in the country. So those were the questions that we wanted to tackle today, so that if you are thinking about that, think again. Being a social worker, think again, and you must make sure that you are kind of like making a right decision. Yes. So thank you so much for viewing this a video. I'm hoping that you have learned some few things, and you are being motivated, and you got some encouragement. Yes, so if you love this video, you can subscribe, and there are a lot of videos that you can see from me, and when we tackle this field of social work. And there is a page that on Facebook that is called The Beauty of Social Work. It hasn't been launched now. I haven't published it, but it's coming with a lot of things. It's called The Beauty of Social Work. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I tell you, it's beautiful. Social work is a field, is an interesting field. You know, when someone comes crying to your office, and then when they leave your office, they leave your office with smile, and you can see hope. You can see future in their eyes. You can see that, you know what, the pressure is been taken off. You know, that's why I say that you are agent of change. You change people's lives, you know. You change people's lives. So thank you. See you on the next video.